There's another live look in at some empty seats as we're waiting for Kawhi and Paul George and the Clippers to have their press conference. Again, we will go live to it as soon as the gentlemen make their way up on that stage. Jorge Sedano, Dave McMenamin, Malika Andrews with us here on The Jump. Malika, while we wait for the Clippers' new dynamic duo to arrive, I wonder, did they actually set a new precedent here on how to build a new team?
I think so, and I think that the evidence of how much discussion has happened surrounding these two guys, and the fact that there were whole meetings, an investigation might be open just into the way this whole summer went in terms of teams recruiting guys and when they were able to talk to people and when teams initially reached out and whether or not all of that is kosher. I think all of those implications were something that then, to me, says, okay, because all these things happened, this is something that we need to take note of. And I think we're going to see more and more in the future guys talking to each other, wondering, all right, are we going to team up? Is this new duo the way that we're going to try to compete for a championship? I'm not going to go unless you go. And that's something that we've seen a bit in the past, but this summer I feel like it just went to the next level. We were seeing it at an all-time high. And so I think that that's something that we're going to see more. And I also think that in this age of information, when things are spreading so quickly, I think that the way that Kawhi and Paul George were able to handle things so quietly and move, real G's move in silence like lasagna type deal, I think that's going to be more important and more threatening as things continue.
I think the difference, though, I mean, we've seen it in the past, but guys would try to sync up their free agency to work together. Mm-hmm. If guys are appealing to someone else who's under contract to try to force their hand to request a trade, I don't think it's a good thing for the league. Contracts should mean something, and I'm all for player empowerment. I think it's led us to a greater level of appreciating the athletes that perform on a nightly basis in the NBA. But if you make that pact and commitment, you should honor that commitment. And here's the difference. Like, the other way, it could be the NFL, and you don't have guaranteed contracts.
Right.
Do you think the NBA wants that? I don't think so.
Yeah, and here's the other part of that equation, and it's a good point too, but I think what ends up happening here is the fans get gypped, right? Because as a fan, you're like, you want to commit to having a team and guys to root for, jerseys to buy, right? All that kind of stuff matters. And I think that those people kind of get forgotten in these situations too.
Well, and you're seeing contracts become shorter now. You're seeing guys sign 1 year, 2 year, 1 year with a second year option deals. And it's not these longer things that are happening. And so you're not kind of able to see what you're saying, where that jersey for 10 years or whatever that is.
Yeah, and small market teams, let's face it, we touched on this a little bit yesterday, Dave, with Rachel, which was that they drive this stuff, right? Whenever there's a tampering issue, it's usually a small market team who's upset about the tampering for a large market team. So here's a small market team, OKC, and yes, they got a little bit of a get out of jail free card because of the Russell Westbrook contract. But if this happens to a team that doesn't have one of those contracts on the books, it's probably not going to be as friendly as this particular situation was.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And but I guess you want to be able to see the flip side too, whereas the players are saying, like, we got to look out for ourselves. We don't have the billions like the owners do. We get the millions, and we only have such a short amount of time in this league. And if Blake Griffin can be signed by the Clippers, and they're going to say, we're going to put your number in the rafters and
trade him
a year later, then guess what? Those are the terms of engagement, and so anything goes.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.